Resident Evil 2 is a modern reimagining of the 1998 classic by the same name. In it, you follow the intertwined stories of police officer Leon Kennedy and college student Claire Redfield as they make their way into Raccoon City and subsequently try to escape with their lives. It's dark, it's atmospheric, and it keeps you on your toes.
Damn. Need a keycard.
Long gone are some of the iconic but often frustrating Resident Evil mechanics like tank controls and fixed camera angles. In Resident Evil 2, you have full fluid control over the camera and your character's movements. RE2 is a zombie survival third-person shooter with light puzzle-solving elements. The game largely revolves around killing or dodging zombies while collecting the necessary key items to move on to the next area. Resources like ammunition and healing items can be scarce, so there's a constant struggle between conserving and expending items in order to survive and progress. This dynamic is heightened by the inventory system, as you have a limited number of inventory slots to carry around items. Anything that you don't have room for has to be stored in your item box or left where you found it. Primary weapons are used as you'd expect to deal damage to enemies. Secondary weapons can be used proactively to deal damage and stun enemies, or reactively to prevent damage from enemy grabs. In a sense, the way you approach combat is a puzzle in itself, as using too many resources in one encounter could lead to your death in the next.
Leon, we really gotta stop meeting like this.
The story unfolds through 4 campaigns, with each character having a primary and secondary campaign, hereafter referred to as A and B respectively. You can play both Leon and Claire's A campaign from the get-go, but you have to finish the game with the opposite character in order to unlock their B campaigns. Each campaign follows the same basic structure, with your character moving from Raccoon City Police Department to the sewers to the Umbrella Laboratory. These campaigns are not entirely different stories, but rather slightly different viewpoints on the same story. In short, Leon and Claire's campaigns differ in terms of the weapons and upgrades you obtain, the secondary characters you interact with and play as, some of the areas that you have access to, and one of the bosses that you face. The differences between the A and B campaigns include a different beginning section to RPD, a new gun for Claire and Leon, some alternate item placements and puzzle combinations, and the true end to the story.
Gee, thanks.
During the course of the game, you can complete certain challenges or records. These records unlock in-game bonuses ranging from art and costumes to weapons with infinite ammo and additional gameplay modes. The concept art is your standard fare, but the model viewer stands out as an exceptional bonus feature. Each character, enemy, and weapon in the game has at least one full 3D model, complete with several different animations for many of them. Completing certain records also gives you access to alternate costumes, and additional costumes can be purchased separately or with the deluxe edition of the game. By completing some of the more difficult records, you can unlock several weapons with unlimited ammunition. Once unlocked, these weapons are available for you to withdraw from your item box, although doing so prevents you from completing the current run with an S+ rank. Finally, completing the true end of the game unlocks the Fourth Survivor gameplay mode, in which you, as a fully equipped character, try to escape from the sewers to the front door of RPD in as little time as possible. Completing this game mode unlocks an additional character to play through the escape scenario with, and you can continue to unlock 4 other variants of this character with different loadouts. A free update scheduled for February 15th will add the Ghost Survivors gameplay mode, which follows the stories of 3 characters who didn't escape Raccoon City.
Why won't he just stay down?
My first criticism of Resident Evil 2 is in regard to its difficulty settings. When you start a new game, you can choose from 3 game modes: Assisted, Standard, and Hardcore. I believe that the game is simply not transparent enough about what the difficulties mean. For example, there is no mention of the difficulty adjustment system that causes the game to become harder if you're doing well and easier if you're not, and how this system seems to affect Standard mode more so than Hardcore. Another example is that Hardcore mode doesn't have some of the inventory expansion upgrade that normal mode has, but item differences are never mentioned in the description of Hardcore. The fact that specific differences are listed in the difficulty select screen leads you to believe that all of the differences are summarized, but this is not the case. My second criticism is that headshots often feel pointless with 9mm pistols, especially in Hardcore mode. When fighting zombies, it's generally common knowledge that destroying the brain will keep the living dead from rising up again. In Resident Evil 2, however, the only way to be sure standard zombies won't wake up is to completely destroy their head. The only way to do this with a 9mm pistol, though, is to score a critical hit, and these occur randomly. Regular shots can knock down zombies temporarily, where they will either get back up as soon as you walk near them, or have a chance to get back up any future time you do. Because of this, when using 9mm pistols, it's often more consistent to shoot off the legs of zombies in order to cripple them instead of actually trying to kill them. This is bad design in my opinion, because no reason is ever given as to why a 9mm round would not destroy a zombie's brain in this world. If it's an issue of balancing difficulty, then the amount of ammo given to the player could have been lowered to produce a more realistic experience where accuracy matters. On the bright side, the shotgun and lightning hawk are both able to consistently decapitate zombies in a single shot.
Surprised you made it this far.
Despite the light criticisms I have for the game, I recommend Resident Evil 2. The game looks and plays great, and I've had a lot of fun in the 50 hours I've put into it thus far. You can fairly easily find it on sale in the mid to low $40 range, and I believe the game will only become more worthwhile once the Ghost Survivors game mode is released.